When every no feels personal, there is a kind of silence that weighs more than a scream. It is the silence that comes after one more attempt, after one more email sent, after one more rejection stops feeling circumstantial and starts feeling personal. It's no longer the position didn't work out. It becomes maybe I'm not enough. It's no longer it wasn't the right time. It becomes maybe there's something wrong with me. And that question, whispered in silence, hurts more than any explicit no. There is a quiet humiliation in repeated rejection, interviews that never call back, relationships that cool off without explanation, projects that stall when everything seemed on track. You try to adjust, you try to improve, you try to understand, you try again, and each attempt carries a little more emotional exhaustion. The body feels it, the chest tightens, the mind begins anticipating the worst, because the human brain interprets social rejection almost like a physical threat. It activates the same pain circuits. That's why it hurts so much. That's why it feels so urgent to fix. That's why anxiety grows. Maybe that's exactly where you are right now. Tired of knocking, tired of waiting, tired of hearing no, even when the no comes in the form of silence. And in the middle of this process, your identity begins to shake. Because when doors close repeatedly, the mind looks for an explanation, and the fastest explanation is usually the cruelest one. I'm the problem. But this is where Psalm 24 begins in a surprising way. Before it talks about doors, before it speaks of access, before it mentions ascending or entering, it declares something fundamental. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. Before any door is mentioned, ownership is established. God is the owner. God is the proprietor. God is the authority over every space you're trying to access. Notice how that changes everything. If you try to enter a building without knowing who owns it, every closed door feels like a personal obstacle. You push, you insist, you grow frustrated. But when you know the owner, when you know who governs that place, your posture shifts. You don't need to break in. You don't need to prove yourself to the doorknob. You can ask the proprietor for direction. Maybe your pain isn't only about the closed doors. Maybe it's about the feeling of standing alone in front of them. But the psalm begins by reminding you, you are not alone. There is an authority above circumstances. There is an owner above human decisions. There is a presence that governs what seems random. And what if some of the doors that closed were not rejection, but redirection? What if the silence you interpreted as abandonment was actually invisible protection? That question does not erase the pain. It does not reduce the exhaustion, but it opens a different space inside you, a space where rejection does not define identity. Take a deep breath for a moment. Feel the air entering. Feel the air leaving. Your value does not decrease with every no. Your calling does not disappear because someone didn't respond. Your purpose does not dissolve because a door did not open. Now, in a low voice, almost like a whisper, pray with me. Lord, I am tired of forcing doors that resist. If I have been knocking in places that do not belong to my calling, redirect me. Purify my motives. Steady my heart, and open only what is aligned with your authority. Where I felt rejected, remind me that you are the owner of every room I seek to enter. Lift my head when doors close, and prepare me for the one that no one will be able to shut. Remain for a few seconds in that feeling. not of hurry, not of pressure, but of surrender. Because before the doors, there is the owner. Before the answer, there is the presence. And maybe, just maybe, what feels like rejection is the beginning of a deeper alignment than you ever imagined. 2. Doors, closing or identity, being refined. There is a profound difference between being rejected and being refined. But when the pain is active, when the heart is still tender, almost no one can see that difference. The mind simplifies everything into one conclusion: I wasn't chosen. And slowly, that sentence begins to turn into, I'm not enough. What many people don't realize is that the human brain reacts to social rejection as if it were facing a real physical threat. The same area that processes bodily pain is activated when we feel excluded. That's why your chest tightens. That's why your breathing shortens. That's why your mind goes into alert mode. It isn't weakness. It's biology. It's your nervous system trying to protect you. But here is a truth that requires courage to consider. Not every closed door is disqualification. Some are protection. Some are refinement. Some are a silent intervention meant to preserve the future version of you. Ask yourself honestly, even if it stings a little, who would I have become if that door had opened? What kind of environment would I have had to endure? What kind of behavior would I have normalized? What parts of myself would I have silenced just to fit there? Sometimes a door opens too early and demands a smaller version of who we are, a version that accepts less respect, less purpose, less truth. And God, in His quiet sovereignty, closes what would compromise your internal growth. We tend to interpret closure as failure, but what if it is preparation? What if it is fine-tuning of character? What if it is God saying, not yet, not in this way, not in this place? Not every key fits every lock. When we force it too much, the metal bends. And it's not just the key that suffers, it's us. Our self-esteem bends. Our identity bends. Our peace bends. Maybe what is being shaped right now is not your professional competence, not your emotional capacity. Maybe it is your identity. Maybe it is your internal security. Maybe it is the deep conviction that you do not need to beg to belong to what has been prepared for you. Because when a door that truly belongs to your purpose opens, it will not require you to negotiate who you are. It will not ask you to hide your faith. It will not demand that you dim your light. It will not depend on masks. And here is something important. When God refines identity before granting access, He is protecting you from a weight you could not yet sustain. Success without sufficient inner structure turns into anxiety. Opportunity without maturity becomes overload. Promotion without emotional stability becomes constant fear of losing it. Waiting, then, stops being punishment and becomes invisible. Construction of steadiness, construction of discernment, construction of confidence that does not depend on applause. If today you feel that doors are closing repeatedly, perhaps it is not a final verdict on your ability. Perhaps it is a quiet invitation to a deeper question. Who am I becoming in this process? Breathe again. Feel your feet touching the ground. You are not being discarded. You are being shaped. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared. And preparation is almost always silent, almost always invisible, but almost always decisive. Maybe at this very moment, God is not changing the doors. Maybe He is strengthening the person who will one day walk through the right door. with steadiness, peace, and an intact identity. Who may ascend? The inner qualification. We avoid examining. There is a delicate moment in Psalm 24 when the question shifts direction. It is no longer about external doors. It is no longer about opportunities. The question turns inward. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? That question is quiet, but profound. It does not accuse. It reveals. Because deep down, we all want access. We want to ascend. We want to enter. We want to move forward. But we rarely stop to ask whether we are inwardly aligned with what we are requesting. The text speaks of clean hands and a pure heart, and it's important to understand this is not about perfection. It is not about never making mistakes. It is about integrity, about coherence between what we present and who we truly are when no one is watching. There is a very subtle trap in the spiritual journey, substituting transformation with performance, praying beautiful prayers, repeating the right words, demonstrating faith outwardly, while avoiding looking at the deeper motivations that drive us. Sometimes we want the door open, not because we are ready to serve, but because we are tired of feeling small. We want the opportunity to prove something to someone, to ourselves, and God, who sees beyond words, also sees intentions, not to condemn, but to purify. Maybe some doors remain closed, not because you lack ability, but because there are still parts of your heart that need alignment. It is not punishment, it is care. Because what stands behind the right door requires inner stability. It requires truth. It requires a firm identity. Do a small exercise tonight before you sleep, in silence, without guilt, without judgment. Ask yourself, where were my intentions mixed with fear? Where did I seek validation more than purpose? Where did I act from insecurity disguised as ambition? This kind of self-examination does not diminish you. It strengthens you. It brings awareness. And awareness is the first step toward real transformation. Imagine a door that requires identification to open. You enter a name. But if that name does not correspond to your true identity, the door does not respond. Not because it hates you, but because it does not recognize the identity being presented. In the same way, when we present ourselves to the world wearing masks, trying to appear stronger, more spiritual, more confident than we truly are, we create internal misalignment, and misalignment generates frustration. Psalm 24 calls us back to authenticity, clean hands, a pure heart, not perfect, pure, wholehearted, honest. Maybe the question today is not, why aren't the doors opening? Maybe it is, am I willing to allow God to cleanse in me what does not align with the next level? That cleansing is not painful in the sense of humiliation. It is liberating. It is like opening the windows of a house that has been closed for a long time. Air comes in, light comes in, truth comes in, and when the inside aligns, something begins to shift on the outside as well. Not because you manipulated circumstances, but because you became compatible with what was prepared. Take a deep breath again. Feel the weight slowly leaving your shoulders. God is not demanding perfection. He is inviting integrity. He is not asking you to be flawless. He is asking you to be whole. And when identity and intention align, the doors that truly belong on your path begin to recognize you, not because of effort, but because of truth. For the silent factor that keeps doors shut misaligned motives. There is a silent factor almost no one notices when talking about closed doors. It doesn't appear on a resume. It doesn't show up in conversations. It doesn't show up on social media. But it shows up before God. It is motive. Many times, we don't seek an opportunity simply to grow. We seek it to prove something, to prove we are capable, to prove we weren't discarded, to prove those who rejected us were wrong. And without realizing it, we turn the door into a stage. We turn the calling into validation. When motivation is rooted in insecurity, even an open door does not bring peace. You enter, but you live with a constant fear of losing it. You achieve, but you never truly rest, because deep down, that achievement did not heal the root. It only covered the symptom. The human mind is deeply oriented towards social validation. From a neuroscientific perspective, when we are approved, the brain releases dopamine. We feel pleasure, we feel reward, and we begin associating our worth with external recognition. That creates a cycle, a subtle cycle, a dangerous cycle, because we start depending on applause to feel sufficient. But when motivation is misaligned, something inside us remains unstable. It is like building a house on sand. From a distance, it looks solid. Up close, it looks impressive. But when pressure comes, and it always comes, the structure reveals its foundation. Maybe some doors are closed, not because you lack ability, but because God is protecting you from entering with the wrong motivation. Because entering to prove something is different from entering to fulfill purpose, entering to silence. Insecurity is different from entering to serve with authenticity. Ask yourself calmly, if no one saw, would I still desire this door? If there were no applause, would I still feel peace walking through it? If no one knew about my progress, would I still recognize its value? These questions are not meant to shame you. They are meant to free you. Because when your motives are purified, anxiety decreases, the weight decreases, comparison decreases. You stop chasing doors to prove something and begin walking with clear purpose. And when purpose replaces insecurity, something shifts in the spiritual realm. You no longer need to run after everything. You begin to discern. You begin to choose with greater awareness. You begin to say no without guilt. God does not open doors to feed ego. He opens doors to sustain destiny. And destiny requires emotional stability. It requires a firm identity. It requires clean motives. Take a deep breath once more. Feel your heart slowing down. You do not need to prove you deserve to exist. You are already loved. You are already seen. You are already known. Perhaps true alignment begins here, not with the door that opens, but with the motive that is purified. Because when the heart aligns, the right doors stop being an obsession and become a consequence. 5. Caution. Not every open door is divine. After many rejections, the heart becomes vulnerable. The soul grows tired of waiting, and when an opportunity finally appears, any opportunity, it feels like an immediate answer to prayer. It feels like relief. It feels like a long-awaited yes. But not every yes is direction. Not every opening is purpose. Emotional exhaustion can push us into impulsive decisions. When the body is saturated with frustration, it looks for quick relief. Neuroscience shows that under prolonged stress, the brain tends to choose the option that reduces tension the fastest, even if it is not the wisest one. That is why sometimes we accept the first open door, not because it is the right one, but because we want the pain to stop. But speed is not synonymous with blessing. Quickness is not divine confirmation. Sometimes what looks like progress is merely an escape from the pain of waiting. There is a profound difference between a door that opens out of alignment and a door that opens out of impulse. The first brings peace, even if it brings challenge. The second brings initial euphoria, but soon it is accompanied by restlessness. Before walking through a new door, take a conscious pause, not driven by fear of missing out, not driven by external pressure, but driven by discernment. Ask yourself, does this opportunity require me to compromise my values? Does it ask me to silence my faith? Does it invite me to grow, or does it force me to shrink? There are doors that lead to wide corridors. There are doors that lead to silent traps. Not every opportunity is alignment. Some are tests, tests of maturity, tests of identity, tests of trust. When we are aligned with God, we learn to value both the doors that close and the ones that open, because we understand that both can be instruments of care. Imagine a father watching his small child wanting to cross a busy street. The child may interpret the restraint as limitation. She may even feel frustration, but the father sees what she cannot yet see. The closing is not rejection, it is protection. Perhaps some doors that opened quickly and later proved difficult were necessary lessons, not to shame you, but to strengthen your discernment. Discernment is spiritual maturity. It means knowing that it is not enough to ask, is it open? You must also ask, is it for me? It is not enough to ask, can I enter? You must ask, should I enter? Take a deep breath. Feel the space between impulse and decision. That space is sacred. It is there that wisdom is born. It is there that peace speaks louder than anxiety. You do not need to accept everything that opens. You do not need to run toward every opportunity. What is truly yours will not require desperate haste. What is truly yours will come accompanied by quiet conviction. And when the right door opens, you will not feel only relief. You will feel alignment, not just excitement, but deep peace. A peace that does not depend on speed, but on the quiet certainty that you are walking within the will that was prepared for you. 6. The anxiety of waiting and what it reveals. There is an invisible space between effort and result. It is the space of waiting, and that space is often more challenging than rejection itself, because when a door closes, at least there is an answer. But when nothing happens, when everything feels suspended, the mind begins creating scenarios, and it almost always creates the most frightening ones. Uncertainty activates a constant state of alert in the body. Cortisol rises, the heart races. The mind tries to find an immediate way out, to do something, to change something, to decide something, anything that interrupts the feeling of standing still, because the brain prefers a wrong decision to no decision at all. It prefers movement to ambiguity. But there is a profound mystery in waiting, a mystery that few accept. Waiting develops internal capacity. Waiting expands emotional structure. Waiting strengthens the invisible muscles of the soul. Think of a fruit still green on the branch. From a distance, it may look ready, but if it is picked too soon, it will never reach its full sweetness. Waiting is not a waste of time. It is silent ripening. Perhaps you are in that space right now, between what was promised and what has not yet manifested. between what you believe and what you still cannot see. And that space hurts. It hurts because there is no control. It hurts because there is no visible guarantee. But notice something important. If God were to open a door right now that is greater than your emotional structure can sustain, the weight could crush you, not because you are incapable, but because you are still being strengthened. Waiting reveals hidden impatience. It reveals dependence on control. It reveals how much our peace is still conditioned on external outcomes. And that is not a reason for guilt. It is a reason for awareness. What have you been doing with your waiting season? Have you been using it to panic or to go deeper, to compare yourself or to grow stronger, to pressure yourself or to prepare yourself? Waiting does not mean remaining motionless. It means growing internally. It means organizing your intentions. It means healing resentments from past doors. It means developing emotional discipline. When anxiety comes, and it will, do something simple and powerful. Deliberately slow down. Inhale to a count of 4. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly. Allow your body to return to balance. Your nervous system needs to feel safe before your mind can discern clearly. Waiting is not abandonment. It is not being forgotten. It is not punishment. It is construction. Construction of stability. Construction of maturity. Construction of a faith that does not depend on immediate signs. Repeat internally, calmly, I am not behind. I am being prepared. I am not forgotten. I am being strengthened. Because when the right door finally opens, it will require more than enthusiasm. It will require structure. And that structure is being formed now. In the silence, in the unseen, in the space between the request and the response. Remain steady. Waiting is also part of the miracle. 7. Lift up your heads, O gates. The authority of alignment. There is a powerful image in Psalm 24 that often goes unnoticed. It does not describe someone breaking doors down. It does not speak of brute force. It does not speak of desperate insistence. It says, lift up your heads, O gates. Be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Notice the difference. The doors are not broken. They rise. They respond to authority. That completely changes the way you see your own efforts. Perhaps you're trying to push what can only open through alignment. Perhaps you're forcing what only responds to the right identity. There is a kind of authority that is born from internal coherence. When your intention is clean, when your identity is firm, when your heart is aligned with God, in that state, you do not need to knock in desperation. There is a quiet strength within you, a silent conviction. Spiritual authority is not noise. It is alignment. It is not pressure. It is presence. When the psalm speaks of the King of glory entering, it is not speaking only of an external event. It speaks of a spiritual principle where legitimate presence manifests, structures adjust, doors rise, environments respond. Perhaps the question is not, how do I open this door? But, am I allowing the King of glory to govern my interior? Because when he governs within, something begins to change on the outside. Before important decisions, try something simple and profound. Declare Psalm 24 out loud, not as a magic formula, not as an attempt to manipulate circumstances, but as realignment, as a reminder of who the owner is, of who holds authority, of where true access comes from. As you declare it, your nervous system slows down. Your mind organizes its priorities. your heart finds its center. The word spoken aloud creates an integrating effect between thought and emotion. You stop reacting impulsively and begin acting with awareness. Doors respond differently to legitimate authority than to desperation. Desperation tries to convince. Authority simply is. Perhaps you are tired of knocking. Perhaps you are exhausted from trying to prove yourself. But when you align yourself, when you position yourself as a son or daughter rather than a beggar of opportunities, something shifts. You do not beg for access, you trust direction. Imagine an heir standing before a property that already belongs to him by right. He does not need to break in. He does not need to hide. He walks with quiet confidence. Psalm 24 is not only about external doors, it is about recognizing who governs your story. It is about allowing the King of Glory to enter your heart first, and then, in the right time, letting external doors respond to that authority. Take a deep breath, straighten your posture, lift your head slightly. Sometimes the posture of the body helps the soul remember who it is. You were not called to live knocking on doors forever. You were called to live in alignment, and when alignment and purpose meet, the right doors do not resist. They rise. 8. The error of comparing your timeline. There is a silent pain that almost no one admits. The pain of watching other people walk through doors you are still praying for. You see announcements, achievements, marriages, promotions, relocations, and something inside you whispers, "Why not me? Why not yet?" Comparison is one of the most subtle traps of the mind. It distorts your perception of reality. It creates the illusion that life is a competitive line, where someone else moving forward means you have fallen behind. But God's plan does not function like a line. It is not a race on parallel tracks. It is a unique journey, personalized, deeply individual. When you constantly compare yourself, your nervous system shifts into a state of threat. The brain interprets someone else's success as evidence of your insufficiency, and that generates anxiety, urgency, impulsive decisions. You begin wanting any door, just so you do not appear stuck. But two seeds planted at different depths break through the soil at different times. One may appear sooner, another may take longer. That does not mean one is superior to the other. It simply means the processes are distinct. Perhaps what you cannot see is the kind of soil God is using to shape your roots. Some trees grow quickly and snap at the first strong wind. Others grow slowly, deepen invisible roots, and remain standing for decades. Comparison creates distortion, and distortion produces misaligned decisions. If you are in a waiting season, consciously limit what triggers excessive comparison, not as avoidance, but as emotional protection. Guard your peace, guard your focus, guard your identity. Repeat internally, with firmness and gentleness, God's timing for me is not delayed. It is being prepared. What is meant for me cannot be taken by anyone. What is meant for me does not depend on someone else's speed. You were not called to live reacting to someone else's pace. You were called to live aligned with the purpose that was designed exclusively for your story. Perhaps today, God is working on details you still cannot see, adjusting connections, preparing environments, shaping circumstances, and in the meantime, you are invited to trust. Trust is not passivity, it is inner stability. It is continuing to walk with dignity, even when visible results have not yet arrived. Take a deep breath now. Feel the weight of comparison slowly lifting from your shoulders. You're not competing, you're being led. And what has been prepared for you does not need to be stolen, rushed, or fought over. Your timing is not a mistake. Your process is not a delay. It is formation. It is structure. It is quiet preparation for a door that will open at the exact moment, not before, not after, but when your soul is ready to walk through it without fear and without comparison. 9. A 3-step prayer strategy using Psalm 24. After everything we had reflected on, perhaps your heart is still asking, but what do I actually do in practice when the doors keep closing? And this is where Psalm 24 stops being just a beautiful reading and becomes a conscious ritual, a pathway, an inner repositioning. The first step is to acknowledge God's ownership. Before asking for any opening, before questioning any denial, declare sincerely, Lord, everything belongs to you. It sounds simple, but it is not superficial. When you recognize that the earth and everything in it belongs to God, you release control of the outcome, and releasing control reduces anxiety. The brain relaxes when it understands it does not have to sustain the world alone. You stop fighting to secure something at any cost and begin trusting that what is yours will be preserved. The second step is to examine your heart, not to accuse yourself, not to blame yourself, but to cleanse what has accumulated from the closed doors of the past. Resentment, comparison, bitterness, small unresolved frustrations, repressed emotions create internal weight, and internal weight distorts future decisions. Ask yourself honestly, am I still carrying anger towards someone who rejected me? Am I still trying to prove something because of a door that closed? Allow God to touch those areas gently, because bitterness closes more doors than external rejection ever could. The third step is to declare spiritual readiness. Psalm 24 says, "Who is this King of glory?" And it answers, "The Lord strong and mighty." When you say, "King of glory, come in," you're not asking only for an external opportunity. You are inviting God's presence to govern your interior. You are saying, before any door opens on the outside, let my heart be open on the inside. There is something deeply transformative about praying this way. You experience a peace that does not depend on immediate evidence, a stability that does not depend on external confirmation. It is like cleaning a space before an important guest arrives. You organize, you adjust, you prepare, not out of anxiety, but out of honor. Practice this in the coming days. When you wake up, declare God's ownership. At night, examine your heart, and in moments of decision, invite the King of Glory to govern your mind before you choose. The result may not be a door opening instantly, but it will be something perhaps even more valuable. Peace before evidence, conviction before results, alignment before access. And when alignment exists, desperation loses its power, hurry decreases, comparison weakens. You stop running after every opening and begin walking with discernment. This is the strategy of Psalm 24, not to manipulate doors, but to prepare the heart, not to control outcomes, but to align identity, not to force access, but to live under authority. And when the interior is in order, external doors stop being an obsession. They become the natural consequence of deep alignment with the one who owns it all. 10. Conclusion. When the right door opens, you will stand ready. At the end of Psalm 24, the image returns to the doors. But now they are not ordinary doors. They are gates that rise for the entrance of the King of Glory. There is no tension in the text. There is no desperation. There is authority. There is recognition. There is alignment. This teaches us something profound. When the right presence arrives, structures adjust. When the King is recognized, doors respond, not by pressure, but by identity. Perhaps you have spent months, or even years, trying to open doors through human effort, trying to convince, trying to prove, trying to fit in. And that is exhausting. It exhausts the body. It exhausts the mind. It exhausts faith. But a door designed for you will not require you to shrink in order to walk through it. It will not require you to hide your essence. It will not require you to negotiate your values. What is truly prepared for your story will be aligned with who you have become in the process. And this is where many fail to recognize the greatest miracle. The miracle is not only that the door opens, the miracle is that you're ready when it does. Because large doors require solid internal structure. They require a firm identity. They require emotional maturity. They require stable faith. And everything you have lived through, every no, every silence, every season of waiting, has been shaping that invisible structure. Praying Psalm 24 is not a formula to force results. It is a transformation of character. It is allowing God to cleanse your intentions. It is allowing Him to strengthen your patience. It is allowing Him to heal old resentments. It is allowing Him to align your identity with true purpose. And when that happens, something shifts deeply within you. You stop fearing the doors that close, because you understand that no wrong door can destroy your destiny, and no right door can be prevented when the appointed time arrives. Take a deep breath now. Feel your posture. Feel your heart. Sense that there is a presence governing beyond what your eyes can see. Pray with me once more, calmly, consciously, surrendered. Father, if doors need to close, let them close completely. If gates need to rise, let them rise at your command. Purify my heart from resentment, steady my hands when panic wants to act, and anchor my identity in you. I choose alignment over acceleration. Open what is mine to walk through, and give me the courage to wait. Remain in silence for a few seconds. Let this prayer move from your thoughts into your heart. Let anxiety slow down. Let comparison lose its grip. Let trust grow. Perhaps the next door will not open tomorrow. Perhaps it will take more time. But if today you choose alignment, if today you choose purification of motives, if today you choose to trust the owner of all things, then something has already begun to open within you. And that is the most important opening. Now reflect with calm honesty. If the right door opened today, would you step through it in peace? Or would you still be trying to prove something? Perhaps true preparation begins exactly here, not by running after doors, but by allowing the King of Glory to govern your interior until, in the right time, the gates rise naturally before you. And as you remain in this place of reflection, there is something even deeper that needs to be spoken to your heart. Doors do not define who you are. Results do not determine your worth. External answers do not validate your existence. There is an identity that comes before opportunities. There is a calling that comes before circumstances. There is a love that comes before any achievement. When you understand that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, something repositions within you. You stop acting like someone trying to break into a space and begin living like someone who trusts the direction of the owner. This shift is quiet but powerful. It changes your posture. It changes your energy. It changes your emotional frequency. Anxiety begins to lose its grip because you're no longer trying to control every detail. Comparison weakens because you understand that what is yours cannot be handed to someone else. Guilt diminishes because you realize the process is not punishment, it is preparation. Perhaps you have spent a long time believing you needed to knock harder, insist more, strive more, prove more. But Psalm 24 does not speak of desperate effort. It speaks of alignment. It speaks of purity of heart. It speaks of recognizing who governs. And there is something profoundly liberating in that. You do not have to sustain your own story alone. You do not have to carry the weight of opening every door with your own hands. There is a sovereignty at work beyond what your eyes can see. That does not mean passivity. It means active trust. It means continuing to prepare, continuing to grow, continuing to be faithful in what is within your reach, but without desperation, without self-sabotage, without negotiating your essence for access. Perhaps some doors closed because you were asking for something smaller than what had been prepared. Perhaps you were trying to enter a space that required you to dim your light, and God, in His mercy, said no. Sometimes God's no is protection from reduced versions of ourselves. And now, in this moment, something important needs to settle within you. When the right door opens, you will not be trembling with fear of losing it. You will be steady. When the aligned opportunity arrives, you will not be begging for validation. You will be whole. When true access manifests, you will not be masked. You will be authentic, because the greatest miracle is not the external opening. It is the internal transformation that happens while you wait. Close your eyes for a moment, if you can. Imagine a large door in front of you. Do not force it. Do not push it. Just stand there. Now, imagine the presence of the King of Glory approaching, not with noise, not in a hurry, but with serene authority. As He draws near, the gates begin to rise, not by your strength, but by His authority. Feel that image. Feel that truth. You are not fighting alone before lifeless doors. There is a presence that goes before you. There is an authority that walks ahead of you. Perhaps what you need most today is not a new opportunity. Perhaps it is peace. Peace while you wait. Peace while you trust. Peace while you are becoming. Repeat internally, calmly. I trust God's timing. I trust God's care. I trust that what is meant for me will open at the right moment. And if doors continue closing for a while, may that not break your faith. May it strengthen your structure. May it refine your motives. May it clarify your vision. Because when the moment arrives, and it will arrive, you will not need to run. You will not need to prove. You will not need to shrink. You will simply walk. And as you walk through, you will realize something surprising. It was not the door that changed everything. It was you. You became steadier, more aware, more aligned, more whole. And perhaps that is exactly what God was building all along. Now remain in silence for a few seconds, Let this truth move from your thoughts into your heart. Let hurry dissolve. Let trust grow. When doors continue closing, remember, before the doors, there is the owner. Before access, there is alignment. Before the answer, there is the presence. And that presence is with you now.